Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This show is produced by ePresence, and I am your host, Mark Galvin. This is part 2 of the episode where we are sitting and talking to Chris Williams of Group Coach Nation. Let me tell you a little bit about Chris in case you missed the first half of the show. Chris is the father of 5 kids. If I remember right, 3 girls and 2 boys. He loves to explore world communities, tries his hand at adventures like shark diving. I should have asked him, but there's the hard question for him. No softballs there. Shark diving, ice climbing, running ultra marathons, and riding electric skateboards. Some things I didn't tell you about in the first part of the show is that he helps build high-ticket groups for additional income, lead generation, and impact. He teaches experts how to generate leads, closing those high-ticket deals, and building strong transformational groups. He also has his own digital agency and leads 2 masterminds of his own. And so our guest is Chris Williams. Let's see if we can track him down. There he is. Hey, Chris, welcome back.
There you are, buddy. Man, this is such a fun day. Love hanging out with you guys.
Well, we love that you made time to sit down and talk with us because of the information you shared in the first half of the show was absolutely fantastic. I did not know what a mastermind was. And quite frankly, I think somewhere along the way, someone came to me and said, hey, Mark, join us on a mastermind. I think it was $5,000. Join us in this mastermind. And I said, no, because coaches stink. So in the first part of the show, I did talk about how I got rid of 2 coaches. They were good people. I mean, honestly, I really liked both of them. They were truly good friends still to this day. But I just didn't feel like it was transformational. In the first part of the show, you said, I thought something very important. You said that masterminds work so well because you do it in, and I'm going to say it in this word, in community with other people. Is that right?
That's right. And you know, Mark, the key there is group selection. You mentioned, I don't want to join this mastermind. You know, I hate coaches or whatever your experience has been. But here's the deal. A good mastermind is led by someone who's extremely good at group selection. So just because a host is good doesn't mean a mastermind's good. A host also has to pick the right people to be on the bus.
Okay. So, all right, that's a whole sidebar.
That's a whole nother level, right?
All right. So we're driving along here and you just said, turn right. And I said, hold on. I want to go this way, but can we go back down that road in a second? Because I think that's really interesting.
Sure. Yeah. Come right back to it. You want to go down the shark diving path first or where do you want to go?
So tell me, what is an ultra marathon?
Oh, that's easy. Anything more than a marathon. So if you, for all you marathon runners out there, you know what ultra marathons are. They're when you park 2 blocks away from the start finish line and you run to your car after the race. It's longer than a marathon, right? No, really. They start at 31. They start at 31.2 miles. That's a 50K.
Jeez.
And that's traditionally where the smallest ultra marathon number starts. And then they just keep going up.
Okay. So an ultra marathon literally is longer than a marathon, but there's not it's not like, okay, this is exactly how far an ultra marathon has to be.
No, they come in like 30K, then 50 miles, 50Ks, 100 milers. There's 150 milers. There's some extremely long ones that I just like 250 miles you're running for multiple days. That's just blows my mind. That's not me.
Well, my next question is, what is the longest ultra marathon you've ever run?
I'm a softie. So I run a little over 35 miles a weekend. I pick a day and go run.
You said a weekend. So that's spread across 2 days?
Like, no, meaning of one stretch. Just go run. Yeah. We'll just go run with some friends. Just get one long run in. But the longest I've ever run is 50 miles. And for many ultra marathoners listening in to you today are going to be like, yeah, that's a good start. It's just not that long in the ultra world. There's some amazing athletes out there who can run for a long time.
I just think that's incredible. So I have an elliptical, and I broke the whole top of the elliptical off one day. I was on it and I was like, whoop, that's not good. So I started, it's like, there's a lot more to that story. We just don't have enough time. So I started running instead, and I totally jacked my knees up. I was like, oh my gosh. I was in such pain. I should not have gone straight to running, right? Riding an elliptical is not running. It is not the same impact, but I totally screwed up my knees. So I'm I look at anybody that can run 10 miles as somebody that is killing it. So I think that you're a god. There are no ultra marathoners watching this show. So don't you worry. They think you're great.
There's a few out there judging me. I get it. Or the rest, they're like, yeah, he is crazy. Pat itself. That was
That's
the right
right. There
start.
we
That's
go.
what he should be.
Exactly right. Well, this is good. We talked about, let's get back into masterminds and the return on investment that someone gets from joining a mastermind. And I mentioned there was one that came up that was $5,000 that I had a chance to join. What do you see generally that people say the return is this? What does that look like? Do you have any data on that?
Yeah, so it depends. Again, let's just assume we have a good host who actually knows what they're doing and has been down the road before multiple times, so they know actually how to guide you through the
Okay.
process. Okay. Then let's also assume that you have a group that's really well, I think curated is the right word.
Okay.
A group that's ready to work together and they're all super committed. If you have those two things, then the transformation you're going to get is going to happen really rapidly. Again, typically 5 times faster than you can do with a one-on-one coach, which would be way faster than on your own. And the reason is pretty simple. It's because there's like this gap of knowledge that we all have where we're trying to accomplish this hard thing. We've probably already purchased books, e-courses, listened to podcasts, watched everything on YouTube about it, but we really can't get traction. And the reason we can't is because we don't really know how to make that information applicable to our own lives. Coach helps with that.
Right.
But the group, like our masterminds that we run, we have 15 people in a group. So we have 3 different levels of mastermind. The first level is 15 people. The other 14 people in the group with you, Mark, like they're cracking codes that you're going to crack next week, or you cracked a code this week that they're still 2 weeks away from. And all of a sudden you have this aha moment, which means that they get to take advantage of your knowledge and you get to take advantage of theirs. And it just fast forwards the entire process. It's so different. And anybody who's been through a group therapy program or a mastermind, you know what I'm talking about. Like if it's a well-curated group, it's unbelievable how fun and how easy it is to get success.
I think this is really interesting because I get the whole group therapy thing. I was little self-disclosure here. This is, since you did, I'll do a little bit of this. My father was an alcoholic, and we did a whole intervention with him, and he went to a rehab center in Florida, and I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Speaking of 5 kids, and we went to Florida, and we did this group therapy session with my father, and so my dad was the kind of guy. I mean, he was from the 50s, right? He graduated in high school in 55. And, the way he responded to us growing up was, grunts and farts, right? That's all I knew about my dad, so to speak. And so we sat down that group therapy session. I was astounded at what came out of that thing. And it made me think, okay, this therapy thing works, first of all. I was astounded at that. And then when I came back, I agreed to go through therapy. And the greatest thing came out of this, and Chris, I think you'll find this kind of interesting. So I was never going to be able to recreate what I wanted with my dad was my kid. Never going to, that's way past that. And I walked out of those sessions with, I'm going to turn and be the dad for my kids that my father was not for me. And I did that. And there's a lot of things that I've done with my kids. I mean, I have a great relationship with my kids. In fact, my daughter was texting me during the break. So those are, so it works 100%. I never would have done that without the start of the group therapy session that got there. There's something.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you bet. There is something I think is hugely important here, and that is that side road, that you've got to pick the right people for the group. Explain how you do that.
So let's just go back to our group therapy sessions for a second, since we're talking on that path. Anybody who's been through a group therapy program has seen some people succeed and some people not
Right.
succeed. And I'm gonna really oversimplify this because there's lots of reasons in therapy settings people do or don't succeed. I'm not just saying some people try hard and don't.
I
That's
like
so
simple.
not
So
real.
Chris, thank you. Keep,
Okay,
because
yeah.
I'm a simpleton.
Yeah. But from a simple standpoint, it's often the case that people who join group therapy sessions or group training sessions who've put some serious skin in the game, meaning they've personally elected to be there and personally paid to be there, have higher success rates. It's no different with human nature on any level. In a business setting, masterminds are super cool that way because people don't send you to mastermind camp as a kid. You got to grow up, make money, choose to engage in a group, and pay. And that means that you're in. Like, oh crap, I wrote how big of a check
Right.
and it's going to take me how long? You bet I'm going to win. And everybody else in the room is thinking the same thing you're thinking. They're ready to go. So I want to make that one distinction. That is one reason why the groups work. The group selection process is just making sure, as a host of a mastermind, that we don't allow people in just because they can write as a check. And often people's masterminds, there's kind of two extremes on this that are bad. It's somebody's first couple of masterminds, and they're just letting people in because they want a check. They want a 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, whatever the price. They just want money, right? That's not good group selection. That's good checkbook selection, but it doesn't help the group. Then the other extreme, people who are super successful at it, but they're letting in 1,000 people at once. Again, that's not a mastermind. That's an e-course. So you got to have the right number of people and people that the host has really sat down with and curated to make sure, are you the right fit for this culture we're building in this group?
So how do you know if someone is not a good fit for your mastermind? What does that look like?
Yeah. So here's what we do. We have 3 different things that we look for in our mastermind participants. And everybody listening in, like, I'm going to coach you through this process so you can make this your own. Okay. Mastermind session number 1 right here, Mark. Let's dive in. All right. It's the best price mastermind I've seen in a while. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, okay. You got to decide who's going to be in your mastermind. Here's how we do it. I'm going to give you my 3 credentials, and with each one, I'll help you think through what yours should be. So first up, again, we teach experts and usually business experts, meaning they help people make money or time or staffing or systems, something like that.
Okay.
Occasionally mindset and relationship experts if they're super high end and really have a vision for where that can go, but that's a different topic. We help those experts because they have an expertise. That's number 1. All right, for us. I don't want, here's why, and you think this through on your own, everybody. I don't want to teach somebody how to get their own expertise. I'm teaching them how to build a mastermind with that expertise. So what is it for you? Mark, if you were leading a mastermind about changing your business and 10xing your model using social media, I mean, that's what you guys do. Everybody leaning into Mark right now, you already trust the guy. He'd be genius at leading a mastermind. If that's your mastermind, Mark, you probably need people who like already have a product or service to sell. Because helping them with their social media, if they just want to share pictures of their grandkids, really ain't going to help anybody. They got to have a reason for you to help them blow up their social media. Okay. So you got to find out what is the number 1 thing that someone has to show up with already done so that I can help them succeed more. Okay. I work with experts. That typically means they've been selling one-on-one, done-for-you services, things like that, maybe some coaching, consulting, maybe a low-level group. That's for me. You got to decide what's for you. Number 2 for me is, and I encourage everybody to have at least 3 triggers that say, here's the screen to get through. Number 2 for me is to be in my mastermind, you have to be a really good communicator.
Got it.
All right. All of you listening and looking at Mark, obviously, he's a good communicator. Measure yourself, the rest of you listening in. Do you like the camera? Do you like microphones? Do you enjoy being in front of people? Because if you're in my mastermind, it requires you doing this, right? You got to be in front of people in your mastermind. You're going to be teaching it once a week or whatever. So you got to be comfortable with that. What's your mastermind going to be about? Like, what's something else thinking through, everybody listening in, that you think, well, I got the first one. I know they have to be this. Okay. Pick something else that you don't want to teach. You don't want to go back to beginner level. This is a mastermind, not a startup group. So you want to pick, like, I need them to have a couple of basic strengths. That's what you're trying to look for here. And here's the third one. And I think this one, honestly, should be on everybody's list. The third one is they have to be a natural giver.
Interesting.
So everyone in my mastermind, my team and I are actively like stalking and screening them on social media, or when we talk to them one-on-one or whatever. And we're looking for ways that we can prove best we can that this person just really wants to help others. They're not in it just for the money. The money always happens. That's easy. They're actually in it to change people's lives and to see somebody else go like, oh my gosh, I just figured that out. Thank you so much. Like, if you have that attitude, you'll be a good mastermind leader. You'll be great in our group because our group will thrive with 15 givers in it. By the way, if you're leading your own mastermind, you want givers in your group. That makes a good group. But also, since I'm teaching people to give for profit, they got to be a giver. If they're just showing up for profit, they will burn out. If they're giving for profit, it will light their fire even hotter.
That's amazing. So I spent 28 years in the hospitality business, and hotel, front office, housekeeping. And when I was hiring people at the front office, I used to ask this one question: what do you do when you entertain? When somebody from out of town's coming, what do you do? And if someone looked at me and say, I don't know what you're talking about, I wouldn't hire them. I wouldn't hire them. I was like, okay, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. We'll let you know how that goes. The person that said, well, they look at you, they have this, they always would scrunch their face up like, well, when Chris is coming to visit, well, I'm going to find out when he's landing. I'm probably going to pick him up from the airport. I'm going to ask him what he likes to eat, what he likes to drink, what he likes to do for fun. So I'm going to feed him what he wants. I'm going to make sure his room is clean. I'm going to take him to that show. I hire that person, right? Because they're naturally, they're hospitable. They love to help. This is what you're doing. You're adapting for your mastermind. And I think what's important is all those steps you just went over are the people you want in your mastermind. So you interview people to be part of your group, right? Because it makes total sense. Like the last one, they have to be a natural giver. Well, I don't know how you could I don't know how you can train anything, how you can teach anything without wanting to give, right? Wanting to be helpful. I think it's fascinating that people are eliminated, that you eliminate folks from being in a mastermind. And by eliminating them, you're going to be more successful. I think that's fascinating. Chris, I think it's really interesting. I mean, it's a softball kind of question, right? It makes sense to me, but it's also courageous, right? No, I don't want you in this group. And I think it's important that you like hiring people at the front desk that like to be hosts and like to serve. You need to make sure that they're going to fit with the mission of your group. And I'm sure all of masterminds have their own qualifications.
Yeah.
Probably maybe that's the wrong word, but kind of get in there. All right. Looking at the time, this is good. I know that you have a 4-step method to prospecting and selling into high-ticket masterminds. Have we talked about this yet? Is this a new topic?
Yeah, we've not talked about this yet, but a great place to do it.
I really like the idea of this because I have a feeling that I can adapt some of this to other things besides just mastermind. So I'd love to get into this. What is that 4-step method? What does that look like?
Yeah, let's just dive in because this is really kind of where the rubber meets the road for all of you thinking through, should you have a mastermind? Because you need to do this the right way or else you'll be upside down in a hurry. All right, first up, you don't want to just attract people. This goes back to, Mark, what you were just talking about. Your goal is to pick the right people. If you want to have 10, 15, 20, 30 people in your mastermind, whatever it is right for you, you're only looking for that 20 people. Like that's all you're looking for. So you don't need to go out there in the big world and pay tens of thousands of dollars for ads to attract 3,000 people to be on an email list, to start funneling them through and try to get up. That's not what you need to do. Your social media accounts right now, and Mark and his team can make this sing for you. Your social media accounts right now, just to take one slice of life, can totally find you the right people. So rule number one is don't find people, choose the right people.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question. I think we've bounced around on this. What is the range of fees that people are typically paying to join a mastermind? What is an appropriate amount that someone should expect and that a mastermind coach can look at as an average number? What does that fee looks like?
Our next topic is how much you gonna charge
Oh,
for
is that
this
is
thing.
that the second step?
Um, yeah, you mean just dive right into
All right,
that?
let's do that. That
Yeah.
makes more sense. I didn't know that.
Okay, let me give you the
Okay,
spectrum first of all, because I'll just hit straight to
good.
your question. $5,000 is the absolute cheapest mastermind anyone should ever think about
Got it.
selling. All right. Because anything less than 5K honestly should just be an expensive e-course. And most people now who have really good transformational e-course structures are selling for $5,800 to $9,800. All right.
Got it.
A lot of people calling those things masterminds. They're just e-courses again. But that space is currently full of e-courses. That's not a
Okay.
mastermind. Anytime you're getting real face time with somebody who's actually been successful doing what they're teaching you how to do, they're not going to charge you 5K because they can get more money than that. They're charging you 5K, it's because they don't know what they're
Mm,
doing. And I am not trying to point fingers at anybody. It's just the truth. In this market, if they're good at what they're doing, it's going to be a lot more than
got it.
5K. Okay. They go up to one of our mastermind levels is 150K. I know people who have $1 million per seat masterminds.
Wow.
Okay. It all comes down to this, and this is the next thing I want to mention. Charge your future price. Don't charge the price that you think you're worth today, because there's this mind game going on with us. We think we only can charge this much. It's usually limited by how much money we think is expensive. You're not your buyer, so don't think that. And how easy it is to accomplish what we know how to do. You're genetically gifted to do what you're an expert at. That's why you're an expert at it. You like doing
Right.
it. Well, nobody else is like you. So don't oversimplify it. I promise you, you got something valuable. So if somebody took your advice for 12 full months, even if your mastermind's 12 weeks, but if they took your advice and executed for 12 months, what's it worth to them? A changed relationship, a saved marriage, a business that's worth 5 times as much, relationship with their kids, their personal health. Put a price on that, because that's what you're selling for.
Oh, I love that. All right, cool. So the first is pick the right people. The second one is
Pick the right
set the
people. It's not
price
hard.
at the right amount. What's
Absolutely.
three?
Number
Oh,
2, and this comes right after pricing, never apologize for your first group.
okay.
Charge more for that one. We all think, oh, this is the beta group. I'm starting a beta group. Everybody in for $500. Next time you hear that, don't join it. They don't know what they have and they're not good at it. All
Mm,
right. Your first group is going to get more of your time and attention than any other group you ever teach. They are the luckiest people on the planet. I wish every group I taught could be my first group. And I do my best to deliver. My team does on every group we teach. But there's nothing like that first group when you're like, tell me more of what you're looking for. Okay, we're going to go create something to fix that problem. Tomorrow, we're going to get right back to you. That's a unique experience. And that's what happens in group number
wow.
ones.
All right, good. What's next?
Last one here, never create products alone.
Hmm.
We do this. We create e-courses, books, 3-part video series, email sequences, whatever. We do it alone. We think, oh, I got a mastermind idea. I'm going to write the curriculum. I'm going to have 12 steps. I'm going to get my templates ready. Stop it. Go sell. Find the right people. Sell seats in your mastermind with here's the transformation we're offering, and create everything that you're going to deliver while you're delivering it to your mastermind. All you got to do is stay 1 week ahead of them, because I promise you, you will create the wrong thing and it won't sell. You got to sell what they need and what they want, and they will tell you that. You don't create that beforehand.
Okay, that sounds crazy. I So, I mean, I'm going to tell you what, I would be the first one to run out there and try to create the world, right? And have it all set and have my documentation. Don't do that. Do it as, so you're talking about building the plane in the air, so to speak.
Yes. Knowing that you're a plane mechanic and the best pilot in the world. So Mark, if I was going to join your mastermind on how to really blow up my social media world, which we're pretty crappy at social media, so that's probably a relevant one for me. If I was going to do that, I don't want to know what we're going to be doing on week 12. I don't care. I'm joining your mastermind because you're the expert. You're the guy who knows how to get me there. You've proven you have success. I know I can trust you to build a really good group of people. All I want to know is, what day do I start? And will you hold my hand through the whole process? If you can say yes to that, I'm signing up, because you got me and I know you do. I don't need to know what's on week 10.
Wow. I'm a little freaked out
And
by
Mark,
that.
if
In
you
fact, I'm starting to
create
hyperventilate. I need a bag.
And here's the weird thing. When we create weeks 1 through 10 or whatever your length is on the mastermind, you're going to get to week 3 and realize, oh, they don't actually need this right now. They've told me what they need last week. Here's the next thing they need. And it's going to be more basic than you think.
I'll be damned. Well, from personal experience, I've done a lot. I think I counted up during COVID. I did something like 70 sessions, 1-hour sessions on LinkedIn, and how to clean up a profile.
Wow.
And by the end of those sessions, I used to say, "What do you want to know?" And let everybody just say, "Well, I'm curious why this," and I would address that. What else? And it was just totally rapid fire, and it was fun. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Because you're providing the exact value that they need. And I remember thinking that was the most fun session I've ever had. And I totally did it because the organizer said, this is the kind of thing I want to do. So I was astounded. It is responding directly to the people as they need it. That just, I'm sorry, it just sounds like something you would have to pull me back from the ledge. Mark, stop. Don't do that. No. Wait for it. Because, we want to be ready. Our culture tells us that you've got to put all the effort into it before, like I just said, right? That whole analogy, you build the plane in the air. That's where it comes from. People say, oh, don't do that. Well, it sounds like it's probably better because then you build the right plane. You may not need a fighter jet. You may need a jumbo 747 because you're going on vacation. Who knows, right? You're responding directly to the audience. Oh, I just think that's brilliant. All right. This has been fantastic. We are at the end of our hour. I feel like I just sat down and started talking to you. So this has been a lot of fun, Chris. Please share with our audience, where can people go to find you?
Easiest way to do it, groupcoachnation.com. That's all there is to it. Just Google it. Google Chris Williams. There it is on the screen, groupcoachnation.com. And we'll be there for you. Like, we just simply want you to know, like, here's where you are as an expert. Here's what you're starting with. Find out where you are specifically, just you being you, and we'll tell you what steps to take next. That is the entire goal. We have thousands of people that go through this program, thousands of people who are in there just for free, learning what to do. Like, you totally got it.
I think that is really, really cool. And you do it because you believe in it, right?
It works. It's changed my life. Yeah.
Unbelievable. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been involved in masterminds? What does that look like?
4.5 years in masterminds. And 5 years before that, I was building online digital products alone, trying to sell them. And it was a nightmare. Yep. And then somebody was like, dude, you got to start with a mastermind. All the pros do it. And that's what I did. And all of a sudden I flipped it upside down. I was like, oh my gosh,
this is awesome.
This is where it's at.
This is awesome. All right. Well, listen, Chris, this has been a lot of fun. I think it's absolutely fascinating. And you know what? Even if somebody's watching this and they're not able to either join a mastermind yet or do one on their own, you shared so much good quality knowledge. And number one is, don't try to sit in your basement and work alone to achieve something. You need a community around you. I mean, that's at the simplest level. Make sure you build resource up, right? Get people around you to do some of the things that you're not good at. Don't try to do things on your own, because we need to be in community. And then once you learn that, you understand how the mastermind works even better. Well, Chris, thank
Mhm.
you a lot. I appreciate you being here with us today. Hang out. I got a couple things I want to say to you quickly at the end of the show, but I do appreciate you being here. Thanks.
It's great, everybody. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
So, folks, so glad you were here to hear us spend some time with Chris. What a great guy, right? The information that he shared with us today, and listen, I always talk to folks before we bring them onto the show. And when I first connected with Chris, I said, I'm not so sure we need coaches on this show. When you hear the content and how he's developed what he does into what he does, it's amazing. So we're thrilled that he was with us today. And this is the type of content that we're trying to find for you to serve to you here on How's Your ePresence. Our show is produced by ePresence, Social Media Solved. We are a full-service social media agency. You can find our website at epresence.me. That's epresence.me because it's all about you. We manage personal, company, social media. We also offer consulting and training. Just by being a viewer of our show, you can take advantage of our discount just by being a listener. And it's right there, e-pr.me/listener. You go to that link, you can get a 5% discount on all of our services. Also, remember this, you can go to our website, epresence.me, and go and check out our podcast channels so you can see all the places that we're dropping our content. We're on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all those places, and we drop on all your major podcast channels. If you can't find us, go check out our website, and it is at epresence.me/podcast, and you will be able to track down all those great places. Finally, please, wherever you are, we would love for you to subscribe to our show. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, you're going to get notified that we are live, and then you can simply jump in and ask a question. We'd love for you to do that. Our producer is Mackenzie Munzer. We appreciate you, Mackenzie. Great job today. Round of applause. Oh, you know what? This is great. This is a neat thing that we've got here. Let's see if I can get this moving fast enough. And yes. So great job, Mackenzie. We appreciate all you do. Until next time, for my guest, Chris Williams, I'm Mark Galvin, and you have been watching How's Your ePresence?